I was looking through my videos from 2012 to 2020. So I've had a few channels and a few name changes, and I mean yogically and legally. So it's quite a variety, and I have a playlist on my now channel, which is Yoga with Taran, of those. It's called My Top Videos, spanning 5 channels or something like that. And in one of those videos I saw a clip of me reading from Howl by Allen Ginsberg, a poet. And it's really interested me because a lot of these videos have reaffirmed my creative self, and they've made me realise that a time in my life where I thought everything was horrendous looking back was actually a very creative part of my life, because I channeled all that pain through art and poetry. And I always looked back at it as if it wasn't healthy, and perhaps not, perhaps I should have spoken about how I felt quicker. However, I can look at it and think it was a gift. Not only because it allowed me to be here where I am today, but it allows me to be creative unapologetically and have resilience in that. So in that I read Song, and the clip's very old. I have lots of makeup on and wearing my hair down. I have a much younger sounding voice. But looking back, as again, that really resonated with my situation at that time, so no wonder that stuck out for me. And this one is called Sunflower Sutra. It's page 35 of Howl. Howl is a collection of poems by Allen Ginsberg, who was in the Beat generation. So a lot of his poems can kind of go off on one, but they're very soulful, I feel. And yeah, so I'm gonna read this. Also, my mum has sunflowers in her garden. It really reminded me of that. But there's a line in here that I thought, whoa, this really relates to my life now. And maybe looking back again, maybe 10 years later, I will see that and recognise that even more. There's a few rude words in this, and I'm gonna do my best to eliminate at least one of them on editing. I know that is part of the poetry, however, I can really see how it might offend, and it may be taken out of context because of how I am and my life now. Sunflower Sutra. I walked on the banks of the Tin Can Banana Dock and sat under the huge shade of a Southern Pacific locomotive to look at the sunset over the Box House Hills and cry. Jack Kerouac sat beside me on a busted, rusted iron pole companion, we thought, the same thoughts of the soul. Bleak and blue and sad-eyed, surrounded by the gnarled snail roots of trees of machinery. The oily water on the river mirrored the red sky, sun sank on top of Frisco peaks, no fish in that stream, no hermit in those mounts, just ourselves, rheumy-eyed and hungover like old bumps on the riverbank, tired and wily. Look at the sunflower, he said. There was a dead grey shadow against the sky, big as a man, sitting dry on a top of a pile of ancient sawdust. I rushed up, enchanted. It was my first sunflower. Memories of Blake, my visions, Harlem and hells of eastern rivers, bridges, clunking Joe's greasy sandwiches, dead baby carriages, black, tideless, forgotten and untreaded, the poem of the riverbank, condom and pots, steel knives, nothing stainless, only the dunk muck and the razor-sharp artefacts passing into the past. And the grey sunflower poised against the sunset, crackly, bleak and dusty with the smut and smog and smoke of olden locomotive in its eye. Corolla of bleary spikes pushed down and broken like an old battered crown, seeds fallen out of its face, soon to be toothless mouth of sunny air, sun rays obliterated on its hairy head like a dried wire spiderweb. Leaves stuck out like arms of a stem, gestures from the sawdust root, broke pieces of plaster fallen out of black twigs, a dead fly in its ear. Unholy battered old thing you were, my sunflower, oh my soul, I loved you then. The grime was no man's grime but death and human locomotives. All the dress of dust, that veil of dark and railroad skin, that smog of cheek, that eyelid of black misery, that sooty hand of phallus or protuberance of artificial worse than dirt, industrial modern, all that civilization spotting your crazy golden crown. And those blear thoughts of death and dusty loveless eyes and ends and withered roots below, in the home pile of sand and sawdust, rubber, dollar bills, skin of machinery, the guts, innards of the weeping coffin car, the empty lonely tin cans with their rusty tongues alack. What more could I name? The smoke ashes of some cock cigar, of wheelbarrows, and the milky breasts of cars, worn out asses of chairs and sphincters of dynamos, all these entangled in your mummied roots, and there standing before me in the sunset, all your glory and all your form. A perfect beauty of a sunflower, a perfect, excellent, lovely sunflower existence. A sweet natural eye to the new hit moon, woke up alive and excited, grasping in the sunset shadow sunrise golden monthly breeze. How many flies buzzed around your innocence of your grime, while you cursed the heavens of the railway road and your flower soul. Poor dead flower, when did you forget you were a flower? When did you look at your skin and decide you were an impertinent, dirty old locomotive, the ghost of a locomotive, the spectre and shade of a once powerful mad American locomotive? You would never know locomotive, sunflower. You are a sunflower. And you, locomotive, you are a locomotive, forget-me-not. So I grabbed up the skeleton-thick sunflower and stuck it at my side like a sceptre, and deliver my sermon to my soul, and Jack's soul too, and anyone who will listen. We are not our skin of grime. We are not our dread, bleak, dusty, imageless locomotive. We are all beautiful golden sunflowers inside. We are blessed by our own seed and golden, hairy, naked accomplishment bodies growing up into mad black formal sunflowers in the sunset, spied on by our eyes under the shadow of the mad locomotive Riverbank sunset Frisco Hilly tin can evening sit-down vision. Berkeley, 1955. Allen Ginsberg. So, going through the poem, I really am attracted to the sunset and the sunflowers, and that reminder that of who you are at your soul, of who you are, this bright, beautiful thing. When did you forget you were a sunflower? And if you think about it, sunflowers stand up proud, and then they fall again, and then they grow again.